The first step in planting a tree is to answer the question, what type of tree is needed? Is it for windbreak, for shade, or for decoration? The second question is the location for the tree, keeping in mind its mature size. Can the tree reach its full size at the proposed site? Is it under a power line, or is it an open space? Is there sufficient soil volume for the mature tree? Planting the right tree for the right place is important. In this video example, we planted a tree to provide shade for a playground. The hole should be 2 to 3 times the diameter of the ball or container, but only as deep as the distance from the bottom of the root ball to the root flare. Lay a stick or shovel over the hole to measure its depth. Remove all tags from the tree and prune the competitive leader, if necessary. There should normally be only 1 leader. This can be done while the tree is on its side. Roll the ball into the hole, keeping in mind the limb direction and safety. Be careful not to get whiplash, as the tree will go quickly into the hole. Open the cage and pull back the burlap and find the flare root. This is the tricky part. Many times adventitious roots or a graft union will be confused with a flare root. Flare roots are relatively large and emerge from the flare base of the trunk. Remove adventitious roots if they are present. The flare root must be at ground level when planting a tree. Some roots may encircle the tree, either straighten them out or cut them off. Cut the cage with bolt or wire cutters and remove as much of it as possible. Remove the burlap completely if possible, or at least down to where the cage was cut off. Be sure not to disturb the root ball. Set the tree plumb, vertical that is. Look at the tree from 2 directions, from 90 degrees apart and from a distance of 20 feet. Make sure the bottom limbs are growing in the desired direction. In clay soil, the hole is essentially a tub that will hold water. During rainy periods, the soil in the hole will become waterlogged, which can lead to root rot. Digging a hole 3 times the diameter of the root ball allows you to fill the hole with uncompacted soil. Scarifying the sides of the hole also promotes good drainage from around the roots and makes it easier for roots to grow into the new soil. Backfill in the hole with the soil that was dug. Check for alignment again. Peat or compost can be added and mixed well with old soil. This acts like a transition for roots as they grow from the root ball into the native soil. As soil is being backfilled, add water and tamp lightly to remove air pockets. Fill the hole with soil to the level of the flare root. With extra soil, create a donut or mound soil to allow for future settling. The donut holds the water in the root zone of a young transplanted tree. Water does not move much laterally in soil, so the donut should not be too close to the trunk of the tree, or water will not reach the tips of the growing roots. Mulch is another tricky subject. The darker the mulch, the longer it has incubated in the pile, which means it is less likely to contain insects, weed seeds, or pathogens. We all have seen smoking mulch piles. Mulch derived from leaf litter helps build the soil but disappears quickly. Hardwood mulch lasts longer but should be turned periodically, or it can form an impervious layer around the tree. Mulch around the tree. Do not let the mulch touch the trunk. Mulch to a depth of 3 to 4 inches and extend the mulch ring beyond the hole. The mulch will look like a donut when finished. After a few years, the settled ring will disappear and so will the mulch donut ring. Water, whether from rainfall or irrigation, should extend to the drip line. Pad down the mulch with a garden rake. Turn the leaf rake upside down and smooth out the mulch. A smooth mulch surface will keep the mulch in place. Posts are not recommended but sometimes necessary. Strong winds can tilt a young tree. Posts can also protect a young tree from car doors, mowers, and kids' vehicles. Posts should only be used for the first year. Put knobs of the post facing towards the tree. We faced the knobs out when we used wire ties. We now use nylon straps, and these hold well with the knobs facing in. For post removal, it is easier with the knobs facing in. Tie an overhand knot in the nylon tie several inches from one end. Wrap this end around the trunk and tie the wrap on the outside of the overhand knot, so the tie will not slip tight around the trunk. If the tree is not quite plumb, the strap can be tied tight enough to the post to straighten the tree, but it is preferable to leave a bit of slack. Moderate movement of the trunk stimulates root development. Tree Lafayette follows ISA standards.